It was a hot summer day in June of 1987, days removed from me being acquitted on murder, attempt murder, and weapon charge, and released back to the streets of New York City after laying up for 13 months and 17 days. As me and my friend, Hollywood, Christopher Brother, was standing in the middle of Marcy houses, home of Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, talking with Big Unique and a few others. Shortly before leaving Marcy that day, Wood introduced me to this young lady by the name of Yolanda, his girl. They kissed and hugged and she left. At that time, Wood shared the fact Yolanda was K-Sean's girl before he went to prison. I begged Wood on that hot summer day to leave that girl alone, to chuck her off as a loss. My reason for telling him that was to prevent him from having any future problem with K-Sean if and when he's released from prison. Based upon the information Wood gave me, I knew that that girl and K-Sean still had unfinished business to address. And me, being like a big brother to Wood, didn't want him to have to deal with somebody as dangerous as K-Sean on his own. I point blank told Wood, that dude would murder you over that girl. Wood agreed to leave her alone. Fast forward several months later, near the front of entrance of Cypress Hill Houses, 1266 South Avenue, Wood and I got into a heated exchange. I guess I felt betrayed. Wood was under my protection, and I couldn't believe it. He was going around talking shit about me behind my back. That didn't sit well with me, so I hooked off on him, punching him dead in his face. Wood just grabbed me and held on to me until several people came along and separated us. Keep in mind, Wood is 6'3", 230 pounds with muscle in his teeth. Me, 509, 165 pounds. Physically, Wood could have crushed me like a fly. During the whole time he was holding me, I can recall telling him, "You are going to need me before I need you." Ironically, a few days later, in the wee hours of the morning, I returned back to Cypress from South Jamaica, Queens, when Hearn, Wood's brother, told me he just received word that his brother was shot in the Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn. Hearn, his sister, and I got into the car and drove to the location where Wood was shot. As we all got out of the car and I realized where I was, I asked Wood brother and sister, why didn't nobody let me know that the notorious killer / sticker kid, Kelvin Hudson, aka K-Sean, was home? Wood was murdered and robbed a short distance from where the young lady he introduced me to in Marcy lived. And go figure, I became the #1 suspect in Wood murder. Emery Matthew, aka Bug Out, was once the LeBron James of Fat Cat Nichols organization. And at one point, him and his crew was outperforming the New York Stock Exchange. Bug was well-mannered and a down-to-earth brother, easygoing, non-violent. Being under Cat umbrella helped him a great deal. Bug started his drug dealing career under Joseph Roger, aka Bobo. Bobo worked it for Cat. Anytime Bobo would fuck up the money he had to pay Cat, he used to blame Bug Out for the shortcoming. As luck would have it, Bobo was sentenced to 6 months on Rikers Island, C-76. Next man up, Bug Out. What amazed Cat at the time, how prompt and reliable Bug was in paying him. After several months, Cat summons Bug to come visit him on Rikers Island. During that visit, Cat gained a true vibe for Bug, and thereafter, he started supplying Bug with approximately 20 to 30 kilos of cocaine each month, and Bug would give him $600,000 to $800,000 cash every month like clockwork. Bug loyalty and consistency is the reason why he earned the Round Table ring. From December 1987 through January 1988, Bug started having problems with Jeffrey Ruffin, aka Ruff, who was Pappy's right-hand man at the time, and the one that helped solve the 1985 murder of parole officer Brian Mourning. Ruff and the Bebo was setting up shop in Bug Out area, a major no-no. Bug was under Cat. Ruff and the Bebo was under Pappy, and all of us supposed to be down together. The Bebo started bum rushing Bug Out drug houses, pistol whipping the workers, and taking all the money and drugs. Bug Out and his crew started doing the same thing. Bug was taking major loss that eventually was affecting Fat Cat bottom line. During that time, Cat was at the Brooklyn House of Detention, and Pappy was on Rikers Island. He sent word to Pap for his people to back off. I had a conversation with Cat, and I could tell he was running out of patience with this Ruff and Bug matter. I was just waiting for him to give me the word to erase Ruff off the census, but out of love and respect for Pap, he didn't give the order. Next morning, I received a phone call from Pap. He was talking in pig Latin. You know, Glaze, you are my man, and I love you like a brother. You also know that Ruff is family. He went on to say when he did his first bid, 7 years, Ruff took care of him that whole time. He went on to say that he couldn't accept anything happening to Ruff. Pap was basically telling me that if Cat put the hit on Ruff, to do not kill him. That phone conversation helped me to come to terms that Pap gave Ruff the okay, the hustle and Bug area. Cat and Pappy met and talked in the holding cell at Kew Garden Supreme Courthouse. The end result, was to sit down with Ruff and Bug and make this problem go away. I met with them both at one of Bug out house. When I got there, Bug and his heavily armored crew, Ruff was by himself. He was all relaxed with a 380 automatic in his hand. I came in and told everyone how it was going to be. Bug and Ruff agreed. They shook hands and Ruff left. Once Ruff left, Bug and Mustafa started telling me that before my arrival, Ruff stated that Cat didn't give a fuck about them, and if it came down to a war, Bug and his crew would die because Pap and Cat are cool, and Cat would never go against Pap. Then once I entered the building, Ruff's whole tune and mannerism changed. He made a 360-degree turnaround. He became totally a different person right in front of them. They was amazed. The truth to the matter, Ruff knew that I was not playing with a full deck. And if he would have rubbed me the wrong way, I would have blown his fucking head off and dealt with Pappy later. Thinking with the wrong head could and will lead to your death. During the summer of 1988, 3 young guys around my age, 24, 25, was murdered, execution style, and an associate of mine by the name of Slick at the Hour Spot. From my understanding, it stemmed from a huge drug transaction that went awfully wrong that caused this latest bloodbath in a city that never sleeps. During those days, it was a crime wave. New York City was averaging 5 murders per day, a major epidemic, and right smack into the war on drugs throughout the world. And no one was safe or off limit. Back then, unbeknownst to me, Slick was leading people to believe that he was under my protection umbrella, that if any problem came his way, I would surely take care of it. Slick was approximately 20 years my senior and strictly about making money, no drama. The killer, who was responsible for the murder at the Hour Spot, one morning while laying up in bed warning his lady, Jennifer, the killer punched her headboard, boom, and she asked him, babe, what was wrong? And the killer told her that if Slick sent anyone after him, it would be Glaze. Jennifer told the killer, baby, don't worry about it. Glaze, I can get him. Glaze had been wanting to fuck me for a very long time. Jennifer then paged me. I called Jennifer back. We started chit-chatting. She wanted to say that she had not seen me in a while and would love to see me. I asked her for her address. She gave me an address in Dix Hill, Long Island. As my driver and I was heading to Dix Hill, I was thinking with the wrong head. I started bouncing things off my driver, such as I haven't heard from Jennifer in about 2 to 3 years. Now she's contacting me out of the blue. I started reflecting back on words that I was gathering from the street, and I was hearing that Jennifer past relationship, and I realized Jennifer was recently involved with the killer and was luring me into a trap, all because I was thinking with the wrong head. The moral to the story, stick to one woman, trust and treat her right. I met you in the late 90s after I was released from prison. You was approximately 6 feet 3 inches, husky built, well-mannered, and good-natured brother. You had mad skill in that basketball court. Due to a serious knee injury, Division I college who was once offering him a free scholarship, pulling back their offer, leaving him with his only option, and that option, Division II. He went on to have a stellar career. His dream had always been playing basketball in the NBA. The opportunity presented itself with the Los Angeles Clipper Summer League until he was cut before the start of the season. He went on to play 7 seasons overseas before he decided to quit. After basketball, you became a sales rep and bounced from job to job until he eventually decided to take his talent back home to the dirty South. As time went on, I used to run into a few of the guys that you and I was both cool with, and the conversation was always the same: how great he was doing. He found the right sales job and became a top performer. I was truly happy for him. You had found his calling in life and was able to finally make a decent livelihood to provide for his family. One Saturday evening, I was out partying downtown when I ran into you, who had just flew into town. He definitely looked like life was treating him well. You went on to tell me how he was the top salesman at 404 Motorsport luxury automobile dealership and an ATL, selling Bentleys, Ferraris, BMW, Mercedes-Benz to the likes of Jermaine Dupri, P. Diddy, Ludacris, NBA player, NFL player, celebrity, and Atlanta political elite. He spoke highly of Tremaine Graham, his boss and owner of 404 Motorsport. We partied that night and had a great time. He was in love with his girlfriend. She recently graduated from Spelman. You was doing great, working as a salesman for Atlanta luxury car dealership by day. By night, he was dropping off kilos of coke and picking up large sum of cash as he traveled all up and down the southeast coast. As strange as it may sound, despite you was working for Tremaine Graham, aka Kiki, ATL Kingpin, it was not his boss who bailed him out after he was arrested with several kilos of coke. His 24-year-old girlfriend, a recent graduate from Spelman College, whom family was financially secure, is the one who bailed him out of jail. Several months later, I learned that on Sunday morning, September 5th, 2005, at 4 a.m., you, along with his girlfriend, was both sound asleep when 2 men kicked in the door of their Atlanta townhouse and shot and killed them both as they laid in bed. I was saddened by the news of my friend and his lady being murdered. I never knew why my friend was killed until a couple years later when you boss, Tremaine Graham, the owner of 404 Motorsport luxury dealership and silent partner with BMF, was convicted and sentenced to life for drug and money laundering charges. Tremaine had close ties to Black Mafia family and the Sin City Mafia. It's crazy how we have all heard of BMF, Black Mafia family, with the flamboyant leader, Big Meech, the low-key leader, Southwest T, with very little mention of Tremaine Graham, aka Kiki. Kiki was 6'5", a former ball player, and in his own right, a major player connected to 2 powerful organizations during the same period, which allowed him to move thousands of kilos of cocaine. My friend Yu knew Kiki from playing college basketball. He knew Kiki was a smart and savvy businessman who ran his legit business alongside his powerful drug ring. Tremaine Graham ordered the death of Yu and his girlfriend because he believed Yu was the only person that could and would implicate him as the mastermind of his drug organization. Those murders would be part of his downfall, causing him to lose everything that he owned, including his lifestyle of the rich and famous in the ATL and LA, to go into prison for life, dying in a cold, doomed cell. At the end of the day, it wasn't worth it. Brian Glaze Gibbs. Crime doesn't pay. Death certificate. Sometime right now in life, you don't know when it's your time. You know, you think you know because of an illness or whatever that you're near death. But a lot of times right now, your death certificate can be signed and you don't even know that it's signed. I was on a run from the federal government from August 11, 1988 up until November 10th, 1988. In and out of New York, South Carolina, Virginia Beach, Chicago, Los Angeles, keeping a low profile and trying to stay a couple of steps ahead of the U.S. Marshal who's on my trail hunt me down. While I was on a run, I tried to get plastic surgery on my face and on my fingers because I didn't want to go to jail. Labor Day weekend, 1988, I headed to Virginia Beach. Doing then, every black colleges from up and down the East Coast border all met up in Virginia Beach. And you got the guys and the girls, mainly the girls. And all the street hustler from the East Coast border also went down there on a mini vacation. My purpose for being down there was to bump into some of my old associates, dudes that owe me large sum of money. Trust me, when you are on the run in the criminal world, those that owe you a large sum of money for work you gave them on consignment will duck and dodge you to prevent from paying that tab. During the next to last day down there, I ran into Webb from Brooklyn, Mr. Low Key, one of the biggest players in the game at the time. It was him, his right-hand man, and the late great Demisio, and approximately 20 of his soldiers. When he approached me, it was just him. Webb had always been a real smooth brother, but just as dangerous as I was. Keep in mind, Webb is the one that was responsible for the original 50 Cent murder. He started talking about different events pertaining to his organization and my organization. As time went on, he summoned his right-hand man to join the conversation. As we went back and forth discussing different topics and issues, we ended the conversation on a positive note. I went my way and they went theirs. It was not until 1990-91, I was already in jail approximately 2 to 3 years at the time, when I called, the street, and I was talking to LD. My man LD started telling me that one morning after partying all night long, him and the late Demisio, Lou Hobbs, Ken Du, and a few others went to breakfast, and how I was the topic of the conversation. Imagine that. Demisio got on them. If anybody know anything about Demisio, pretty boy, made money. I know Demisio going back to 1979, and he was very vocal, was not afraid to express himself. He started the conversation and telling these niggas, oh man, Ken Du, you used to be fucking scared of Glaze. Lou, you was scared of, you remember when different shit started happening or whatever, and how every time Glaze came around, y'all niggas was shaking your boots. Demisio went on to say, during Labor Day 1988, how Webb, Demisio, and Webb, right-hand man, left New York. Before they left New York, they was in Brooklyn. And during that whole time, what they was talking about, if they go down to the Virginia Beach and they see me, they was going to execute me. They was going to more or less, like right now, murder me like they did to Sonny Corleone in the movie The Godfather. I didn't know that the only reason they did not kill me Labor Day weekend 1988 was due to my answer was legit and real. Sometimes your death certificate can be signed and you don't even know it. So here it is right now. When those motherfuckers approached me, they had every intention of killing me, and I didn't know it. What saved me that particular day? Me being me being real.
Get your copy of Straight from the Street Volume 1. Also Straight from the Street Volume 2 by Brian Glaze Gibbs. True stories of true life event of the 80s and the 90s. Crime doesn't pay. If I can change, you can change. Go to Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. Get your copy today. Crime doesn't pay. If I can change, anybody can change. Brian Glaze Gibbs.